Well, hello friends, and welcome to another Ask Zach. I hope you are doing well. Happy New Year. First episode of 2022. Can you believe it? So today, I'm going to talk about my New Year's run of gigs that I played some shows, and it was a ton of fun, and had to do some different things because there was another, it wasn't me filling in for Paul Bogart's guitar player, it was me playing with him. And so I had to think differently, and I had to bring some different tools with me. And so one of the things I brought was this Dano 6-string bass, this Hodad. Also brought a mandolin. Of course, I always have my Esquire, and had the old Vox AC10. So yeah, I'm going to talk about that today. So of course, while we're thinking about it, if you would, please go down in the corner and subscribe if you haven't done that already. Also, I really appreciate you supporting the show. If you've been, watching for a while, there's multiple ways. There's Friends of Ask Zach, which is a way to support the channel on a monthly basis, and I'm very grateful for those guys. And also, there's good old tip jar information. Or also, there's merch information. You can go to AskZach.com, and you can find out more about Friends of Ask Zach or find some merch. So, yeah. All right, so let's dive in. So, I'll just, pardon me, I'm kind of getting over a bad cold. That's always fun to go play some shows and be sick, but I'm okay and doing better. So, but if I'm a little bit froggy, that's why. So to back up a little bit, the last shows I played with Paul, it was a fly date in Las Vegas. And that, of course, is the episode where I talk about going direct because it was, backline kind of got hinky, and I just decided to use the Strymon Iridium. Went great. Well, Paul asked me to play a couple more shows, the 30th, the 31st, and the 1st of January. So it was, basically the day before New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day. So they were all kind of in the Tulsa and Wichita, Kansas area. So he asked me to do those, and those we weren't going to fly to them. We were going to be driving out there. So with that, I had a lot more freedom to take stuff. And I learned a whole lot from playing the fly date because that was the first show I had played with the other guitar player. Because again, normally I was filling in for him. But now I'm playing with him, and I'm realizing that, of course, we're going to a lot of the same things. So I had to really think about, after doing that show, I'd really think about moving in another direction and staying out of his way. Now, unfortunately, we couldn't have a rehearsal together. So that would have been the easiest thing, but that would have been also the most time-consuming thing. So with that, I tried to remember as best I could what he was playing on different songs and, because he wasn't doing what was on the recordings I had heard. And which, of course, every guitar player, changes it up when they're playing live and having to cover multiple guitar parts. So I played more slide guitar because he was not doing that. And then also I brought along this Danelectro 6-string bass, which I actually picked up recently. I have a Squier Bass 6, but I put flat wounds on it. And with this, I really wanted kind of that Dano, lipstick tube pickup, round wound string sound. So I got this off of the old Reverb, and it was like $500 or $600, not too bad. This is a Hodad 6-string bass from the early 2000s, and I had to do some little repair, I guess what you'd call triage guitar tech repairs on it. So if you see here, this is actually raw solder, unused solder that I used to ground it because it had a bad ground. And so I just connected the switch and actually wrapped it around one of the strings. And I found that, that really reduced the ground noise. So I did that. Also, one of the adjustment screws for the pickup just, kind of fell out. And I didn't have time to fix it, so I kind of jammed that up so that the pickup, so this bridge pickup, which is the one I was using the most, would stay in place. So that was fun. So anyway, so I learned some different guitar parts and solos and things I could do, even to playing like an instrumental like Ghost Riders in the Sky, which really fun to do. That's just a ton of fun to play on the bass and on the bass 6. And then the guitar player, I could play like the melody line, and then he could do a response with some kind of wailing, kind of high high on the neck type playing. So that was a lot of fun. So this worked out really well. And one of the really fun things was the piece that I played at the beginning of this episode was actually an intro to a new song that Paul Bogart had done. While she's mine, when she's mine. Sorry, I'm forgetting, but I'll put it in the link. And he just sent us the demo, over the or the single that hadn't been released yet. He just texted it to us and said, learn this. And so that that's the kind of thing that happens. We're out on the road and he texts us this song, and so we learned it, and it had a dobro part playing that intro, and of course we didn't have a dobro, and I just thought, well, what if I play it on the bass 6, and it'll and play it kind of like John Jorgensen might have played something like that with the Desert Rose Band. And so of course I had my Vox AC10 out there, and I used this, and I used the Boss vibrato and Boss DD2 for a little touch of delay, and to do this type of sound. So it was fun to utilize that sound live, and so those are just kind of the things you get asked to do. It's all of a sudden it's like, hey, let's do this song tonight. No rehearsal, and everyone. And so during sound check we kind of did, we kind of went through the song once or twice, and he was okay with me doing the whole bass 6 thing on there with the warbly vibrato and everything. So so another thing I did was I also brought a mandolin. And that was, because of course I love to play mandolin, and also because the mandolin is fantastic because it stays out of the way of other instruments. So there was a Western swing tune called All That Cowboy Jazz that I really love playing, and it has some harmony parts on it and such. And it was, it was just 2 guitars sounded okay when we played it in Vegas, but I thought, if I could just play those parts on the mandolin, and it's going to sound so much cooler because it's going to be up an octave, and instead of playing like way up here on a guitar, play it here, and also you get different voicings and everything. And then also, I had to take a solo on it. So anyway, it was a song in the key of G, and just a 1-4-5 thing, but you kind of have to that's into the key change going into A. Anywho, so it was a lot of fun. Plus, the mandolin just kind of stays, out of the way of the guitar, unless the guitar player is playing way up high. And it just kind of has its own sonic real estate, and so it really worked well. Another fun, we played the Don Williams tune, Some Hearts Will Never Mend. My Love for You Will Never Die. That's a great tune, and so I could play mandolin on that, and And of course, another nod to John Jorgensen. The whole reason I play the mandolin is from seeing him play with the Desert Rose Band, in the 80s, and hearing him play his mandolin, which I found out he was running through his AC30s, and kind of in tribute to him, and also because we ran out of channels, so I ran my mandolin through my Vox AC10 here. And so I just used a Boss EQ pedal. This one's modified by XTS. And so I just, ran the pickup through that, and then I would turn all the effects off, so I wouldn't use any effects unless it was something where I was really going for something oddball. But yes, you can put, effects on the, I did use the vibrato on the mandolin, once or twice just to get kind of a neat effect. But yeah. So that was just a whole lot of fun, switching out and playing the mandolin and bringing different colors to it, and making it fun. Also, I got to sing a couple songs. He wanted to have a break, and so I played some favorite tunes of mine. So I played "Only Daddy That'll Walk the Line," the old Waylon Jennings tune that Jimmy Bryant got payment for playing on a session by getting writer credit on it, even though he didn't write it. And did "Honey, Won't You Open That Door," the old Mel Tillis song that Ricky Skaggs had a hit with. That was a lot of fun. And so it was just a hell of a lot of fun, going out and playing some shows. Those are great guys, and it was good music. I really love playing traditional country music. It really warms my heart and makes me feel good. And I get to play my Esquire, through this nice Vox AC10, and with a simple pedal board. I'll just tell you what I have on here. I have the XTS GE7, which they just modify it to make it where it's a little more guitar frequency friendly and a little cleaner, a little quieter. Sonic Research Turbo Tuner. Use the Karma Mostortion, which I highly recommend because it's like $200, and it sounds the same as my old Mostortions, and it's just more rugged and smaller. Used a new Boss vibrato, the Wazacraft version from Boss. Had an Analog Man tremolo just because I didn't want to run this foot switch all the way over, even though this actually would have sounded better. The Vox's tremolo is really nice. And then I had a Boss DD2 for long delay time, and then I had the Boss RV2, which is the old reverb pedal they made back in the late 80s. And of course I have that on the plate setting. And again, in kind of tribute to John Jorgensen. I don't play anything like John, but yeah, he's just been a big influence. And it's kind of, when I think about country bands, I kind of think about either his mold or playing more like Roy Nichols or Reggie Young. Those are kind of a lot of my heroes when I'm thinking about as far as not playing exactly like them, but maybe thinking like them in a small way. So, but always ends up coming out like me, because I can't play like those guys because I'm me. So, yeah. So one other thing I'll just mention briefly is, it was a little tough being sick out on the road, which I was, and but I just, and just so you know, I was tested, and so I didn't have the unmentionable while I was out on the road, and wasn't spreading that. But it was kind of tough, of course, having to rest up, and then get ready for the show and kind of saving up all your energy for the show. But it was a lot of fun, and so that was my New Year's Eve gig. Amp wise, I just used the Vox AC10. I had the Fender Tone Master Deluxe, the blonde one. I had that as a backup, but I didn't use both amps because, again, there's another guitar player and I didn't need to go stereo. And so I just went mono, and it was great, of course. And then I could actually turn the AC10 up louder. So I could turn this thing up about halfway, and it sounded pretty darn glorious. I want to thank some friends out there that have been kind and sent me some gifts. I had one friend that who shall remain nameless, who gave me an early Duncan broadcaster pickup that he used in his guitar for many years on sessions and albums and such. So, yeah, thank you. Also had Greg Townsend was kind enough. He plays in Los Straitjackets, and he sent me two of his albums, and they are fantastic. They are the kind of instrumental music I like, because he actually plays melodies instead of just flailing around. I mean, he will play some solos and burn some, but he has, pure guitar sounds. He plays a Jazz Master and a Telecaster, and, and just gets a good guitar sound and doesn't just go wheedly, wheedly, wee, which that wheedly, wheedly, wee just wears me out. So I like it a little bit, but then also, I'm always amazed at the people that will, reach out to me. And one of them was Bob Berman. So Bob Berman managed Danny Gatton for a while, did some interviews with like Roy Buchanan and James Burton and others. And he's a great, historian, and also he's been involved in the business. And he sent me this really cool picture of he and James Burton in the, it looks like the mid to late 1960s by Burton's lamb chops, and also by the Cadillac, because of course Burton always drove a Cadillac. So I thought that was a really, really cool photo of Bob and James Burton. So I just want to thank y'all for sticking with me. I'm sorry I was gone for a couple of weeks. Of course it was holidays, and then it was gigs, and then I got sick, and now I'm getting over it, and looking forward to good times in 2022. And I hope y'all are all doing well, and and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.